Today I'm going to be teaching you how to do this crazy modern mullet transformation. If you're new to the channel, my name's Jay Blends. I do vlogs, haircut tutorials, and barbering content, so y'all make sure to go ahead and subscribe for more barber content. So to start this POV tutorial, we're going to go ahead and get our Tomb 45 trimmer, and we're going to set our first guide. This burst fade isn't going to be a full burst fade all the way to the back, it's just going to be right there around the ear. So we start the guide at the bottom of the eyebrow and we just contour this to the shape around the ear, not going all the way back. Now we're going to go ahead and bald him out with the trimmer. Notice how I'm stretching the ear back so that we don't cut the ear and we're getting all the little hairs behind the ear. This is something that a lot of barbers forget to do, and it makes the client feel like they didn't get a high quality service because there's hair left behind their ears.
Gets the job done.
Now that we went ahead and balded out the client, I'm going to go ahead and grab my Tomb 45 clipper with the lever open, and we're going to create about a finger's length guideline. This is going to be about a 1/2 inch guideline up. Notice how I'm flicking out so we don't set a super hard line. Flicking out is also going to help me debulk the section above. I do have the full Tomb 45 clipper and trimmer set. This is probably one of my favorite clippers of the year so far. After that, I'm going to go ahead and grab my Babyliss FX foil shaver. This is the UV shaver, and we're going to go ahead and bald him out. As I get close to that guideline that we just made with the clipper open, I'm going to go ahead and flick out that shaver, and I do this to ensure that we're not going to create another harsh guideline when balding the client out. After that, I'm going to go ahead and slap the 1.5 guard on the Tomb 45 clipper, and I'm going to go ahead and flick out to debulk while also creating the second guideline. This guideline is going to be about 1 inch long, and I'm also going to use some clipper over comb to blend the sides into the top of the fade. Notice how when I am doing the clipper over comb, I am closing up the clipper. This will make it a little easier to debulk the sides.
You got any Halloween plans, bro?
Now I'm going to go ahead and slap on my half guard, and I'm going to start with the guard halfway open, and we're going to go about halfway up that guideline that we just made with the 1.5 guard. Right here, it's all about lever play with the half guard. I'm going to go ahead and close that lever up all the way and hit some dark spots. And as I go up in the fade, I'm going to go ahead and put that lever down. For those of y'all that haven't done many haircuts or don't know too much about barbering yet, when the lever is all the way down, that means that you're cutting less hair and you're going to leave a longer length. When you close it up, you're going to be cutting more hair and you'll be going a little bit shorter. I know this is something that I was confused about for a little while when starting barbering, and it's not explained too often in videos, so I just wanted to make that clear for y'all. Now I'm going to be going back in with my clipper closed with no guard on, and we're going to hit about 1/4 inch of the way through that bottom guideline. Notice how I'm using my corners right here. This is to ensure that we don't go too high on the fade and that we can also blend out that bottom line. Using the corners is also super good for detailing. As we go up in the fade, I'm going to go ahead and open that lever up, so I'm going to press that lever down, and I'm just going to work my way up this bottom guideline. This can be one of the most tedious processes of the fade, but this is really what's going to bring in that skin look all the way to the top of the hair. Be patient and be detailed right here, especially if you're a beginning barber. And like I mentioned, as you go up in the fade, go ahead and open that lever up. I do want to go ahead and let y'all guys know that this is pretty much a full-length tutorial. There's not much edits going on. This is just a super raw video of showing y'all my fading process. This was filmed during barbershop hours, so no, this might not be the crispiest enhanced haircut that you see on Instagram, but it is a barbershop haircut and it is a great tutorial, especially if you're learning how to cut hair fast. I think I had 20 haircuts this day, and I do 30-minute appointments, so that means I have no room for error in my schedule. Of course, you want to give your client the best service possible and the best haircut possible, but if you can do this at an efficient rate and you can still give a great haircut, then why not go for it? Now I'm just going to go back in and do some extra detailing on this side. I went ahead and slapped on that half guard just to clear up some of the dark spots that I saw. And now I'm going to go back in with my Tomb 45 trimmer, and we're going to go ahead and sharpen up the C-cup. This is something that I like to do before I do my last full detail. It really just makes everything pop for me. I'm going to go ahead and start at the corner of the arch and then work my way down. I'm also going to go in behind the ear and on the neck, and I'm just going to go ahead and clean up some of these hairs before I start to detail the fade. Now I'm going to go ahead and go back in, and we're going to follow the same steps on the other side of the head. Notice how I'm starting the guideline in that same spot right at the corner of the eyebrow and just contouring the fade to the shape around his ear. If y'all guys made it this far in the video, y'all go ahead and let me know down in the comments if y'all have any questions about barbering, whether it's clippers that I use, fading processes, or even just anything business wise within the barbering industry. I'd be more than glad to help y'all guys or make a video on the topics that y'all have. Also, if y'all guys haven't already, y'all make sure to go follow the other social medias. I do TikTok, Instagram, as well as the YouTube, so y'all make sure to go leave a follow. Right here, I'm going to be going back in with the clipper open with the Tomb 45s. Like I was mentioning earlier, this is probably one of my favorite clippers of the year. I really enjoy the Tomb 45 products. I feel like Chris Bosio has brought a lot of innovation to the barbering game, and I feel like he did that with this clipper as well. It is a little heavy compared to other clippers, but I feel like it delivers great power, and it also has a stretch lever on it so that the open opens up just a little bit more than what other clippers do, and I really like that about this clipper. The ergonomics are also really good, and I like the color scheme, and I like that the battery life shows on the clipper. This is definitely one of the most efficient and ergonomically designed clippers that I've ever used, so shout out Chris Bosio and the team for making this design.
When did you move to Austin? Was that end of summer, beginning of summer? Okay.
I started working like
Did you say it's busy over here in Austin? Or is that right?
There's more like student traffic.
Now, just like we did on the first side, I'm going to go ahead and slap on that half guard, and we're going to go ahead and detail this haircut and bring together the fade. Right here, we're doing the same method as we did on the other side. We're going to go ahead and start with that clipper closed using the corners, and we're going to bring the skin into the hair. Now I'm opening up the lever as we go up the fade, like I mentioned to y'all earlier. Once you can get this step down, this is one of the most satisfying parts of the fade, and this is when you really start to see the haircuts come together. back with a 245 trimmer to go ahead and edge up the C-cup before we start our full detailing process. Now we're going to go ahead and go in and shape up the back of the neck hairs. This client specifically wanted a V shape, so I'm going to go ahead and start in the middle just so I can make sure that this line is even on both sides. And we're just going to go ahead and touch it up. Notice how I'm brushing the hairs down and combing them out. I do this to ensure that we hit every single hair and that we can get this line super sharp on the neck. Make sure you're being light with the trimmer when you're doing this. Some people have super sensitive neck skin and you don't want to be making them all red before they leave the shop. One thing I always tell people is to let the tool do the work. If you have the right tools, it'll do the work for you. Now we're going to go ahead and do some scissor work. This client just likes to have a little slick back flow and he wanted a 1/4 to a 1/2 inch trim on the top. So I'm going to go ahead and start by saturating the hair completely. This is going to make it easier to work with throughout the entire process. Now that the hair is fully saturated, we're going to go ahead and go back in. And I'm just going to comb through the hair. I'm going to go ahead and pick up some vertical strands right here. This isn't going to be a too detailed scissor cut right here. I'm not doing any sectioning. I'm just pulling up a vertical guide and trimming off a 1/4 to a 1/2 inch to make sure that everything flows. For hair like this, I don't really need any sectioning. Everything's already flowing and cut down to where I want it to be. I'm just making sure that everything's even and not popping out. We're just going to go ahead and follow this process down the head and make sure that everything is even. I'm also going to pull some horizontal sections off the side just to make sure that it's not too bulky on the sides. We don't want all this hair hanging over the fade, we just want it flowing up on top. Like I mentioned earlier, this is a barbershop haircut where I'm doing 20 to 30 minute haircuts, so the scissor work isn't super detailed right here like you'll see in some other videos where everything's sectioned off. But I do know that I'm cutting the hair to even lengths, and we do this by cross-checking everything throughout the haircut. Notice how we're pulling different strands of hair in different directions. This is what cross-checking is, and we just want to make sure that everything is even throughout the entire haircut. Now that we went ahead and we did the fade and the scissor work, we're going to go ahead and pop on a straight razor, and we're just going to do a little detailing right here. I do use the Tomb 45 straight razor. Shout out Tomb 45 once again. I can't thank them and the team enough for what they have done for me throughout my barbering career. I am in the 6FB mentorship. It's taught me a lot business wise, so I do support the brand heavily. We're going to go ahead and we're just going to detail the C-cup with the razor. Notice how I'm stretching the skin in the opposite direction of which I'm cutting. This is really going to make them C-cups pop. That's why I stressed earlier not to push them back, because we're going to do other methods to make sure that they're super sharp and crispy. I also like using the razor because I feel like it makes the client feel special. Not every barber does this, but it adds an extra form of detail to the haircut. After I hit them with the razor, we're going to go back into this haircut and just do some last minute details right here. This is just all part of the experience of learning and growing as a barber and building up your barber's eye.
You have a good weekend. You'll have like a decent amount of UT students that stay at Chelsea Place over there.
Now that both sides have been fully detailed, this haircut is finally coming to an end. Like I mentioned earlier, if y'all guys have any questions or comments, y'all make sure to leave them down below. I'd be happy to answer them. Also, y'all let me know what y'all think about this POV style video. I personally use the meta glasses for my Instagram and my TikTok, so I was like, why not implement them into the YouTube? It might make it a little easier for a beginner to see what's going on throughout a haircut, and it makes it super easy for me to record throughout the haircut. But now that the haircut's finished, we're gonna go ahead and clean off all the neck hairs. I went in with the trimmer and followed up with the foil shaver, and then I'm going to go ahead and spray a little bit of aftershave on my client. Don't forget to do this. I personally use the level 3 frost, and y'all go ahead and check out this crispy haircut, man. This is the trendy modern mullet fade that y'all see a lot these days. If y'all guys haven't already, y'all make sure to subscribe and leave a like on this video, and I'll make sure to catch y'all guys in the next one.